I'm Alexis Del Cid, and I hope you're all having a wonderful start to 2026. Our team is taking this month to gather phenomenal stories and topics for our next season of All Things Brain Health. That begins the first Tuesday of February. And we already have some great stories lined up for you, like Michael McHugh, who suffered a stroke while he was interviewing someone for a job. Learn how that person and the doctors here at the health system saved his life. We're so excited for what's to come. Until then, please enjoy this Encore presentation.
Everybody wants to rule the world.
So what does this have to do with healing your brain? It turns out quite a lot. Doctors at the University of Kansas Medical Center are researching how music can rewire neural pathways, calm the mind, and even improve recovery after injury or illness. Good morning, I'm Alexis Del Cid. Welcome to All Things Brain Health. Today we're exploring the science of sound and the healing power of music. From hospital rooms to the lab, doctors are discovering how music engages the brain in ways medicine alone cannot. Joining us today are the minds behind the music, the magic of music research. We have Dr. Lauren Mann, who is an audiologist here at the University of Kansas Health System and a researcher on the KU Med Center side. And we also have Dr. Rebecca Lepping. Thank you for being here, Dr. Lepping. Dr. Lepping is the program director of the Promise Lab, the director of the Promise Lab, which is in the Department of Neurology. So thank you both for being here. This is going to be a fascinating story. You brought props and headbands.
Show and tell.
It's going to be great. Dr. Lepping, I want to start with you. When we listen to music, what's happening inside the brain at a neurological level?
We often think of music as an auditory stimulus. It's sound. But music is really more than just sound. So when we are listening to music or playing music, nearly every part of our brain is engaged. So that's our visual cortex. If we are reading music or watching performers, it's our motor cortex that makes us want to move to music. It's our emotion processing, the emotion that we get from music. It's about how we understand ourselves and our identity, and so every part of the brain is involved in processing music in some way or another. And the work that we do in my lab is try to understand which parts of music are responsible for which parts of the activation of your brain, so we can connect those with health and well-being.
Music is such a huge part of our lives. Just hearing a song on the radio can completely transport me back to a specific day in time.
Absolutely.
And I can even smell what the campfire smelled like that night or wherever I was. Dr. Mann, how is therapeutic music different from just listening to the music that we like on the radio, our favorite songs?
That's a good question. Our favorite songs can definitely help us feel better or take us back to a memory, but therapeutic music is about using calming sounds, steady beats, and rhythm to help put the brain in a relaxed state. So it's a little more targeted.
You kind of sparked my curiosity because on Instagram I follow a lot of ADHD pages because I have ADHD, and there are these certain notes that they'll say, play this, and it calms the ADHD mind. Is that true, or is there still research that needs to be done on that?
I would say that it's based in research, but I'm not going to support anything that you saw on the internet without looking at it myself. But
Dr. Instagram.
Yeah, there's definitely patterns and types of sounds that can stimulate the brain and brain activity.
Dr. Lepping, we have video from a recent study that you did here in the Promise Lab. What's happening here, and what did you learn from this study?
So what you are seeing and hearing is a performer giving a live performance to a small audience in our lab, and two of the audience members are wearing EEG caps, high density EEG caps.
Okay.
And we are interested in what's happening in the brain when people are hearing live music, but also what's happening that might be different when we hear music collectively as an audience with other people rather than just listening by ourselves.
Oh, so could it translate to even the experience of being at a concert rather than in your
That's what we're trying to replicate in this
so
lab,
interesting.
somewhat controlled lab
Right,
setting.
that is so interesting. And do you happen to remember the name of the musician? Because they're fantastic.
Yes, that is Enrique Chi. He is the band leader of a band called Making Movies. It's a local Kansas City band.
I hear Tears for Fears.
Yes.
And that always perks up anyone's ears. Dr. Mann, you brought a prop. You brought a portable EEG machine for a live show and tell. So you're going to put this on me. It's a headgear.
Yeah.
And you're hooked up too, so.
I am.
Okay. This is kind of like.
We're going to show you what
the
it would
Karate
be
Kid.
like
Okay.
to be in our study.
Okay.
So essentially this is an EEG like you saw on the screen, but this
Okay.
is a tiny 4-channel one instead of a 256-channel research device.
Because some of the other devices, you have to like get people wet, get their heads wet, and
Yeah,
stick
it's
them on
very
and stuff.
involved. So that's
Okay.
a little prohibitive for the type of work we want to do. But
Right.
this will let us get out of the lab and into the community, into music, concerts, and other venues. And then once we get it going and connected,
Okay.
we start to see brainwaves. Brainwaves.
So are those my brainwaves?
They are. They're in there. Look at
And-
that.
What? They're in there. Don't sound so surprised. Look, you have brainwaves. What
Yes.
is the pink and the blue and the aqua? What are those
So this
different
is a pretty
colors?
simple device. We can't do a lot of really complicated research with it, but what we can look at are a few things. How relaxed you are.
Okay.
So we can look at your blood oxygen level. There's FNIR sensors. We can look at your heart rate, and we can look at the electrical activity going on in your head in these areas.
And what do you see right
Yeah, and right now you're active, you're engaged, which is good, because if I was talking and you were in the dreaming and sleeping
be a
state,
bad
that would
sign.
be bad.
Right.
But what we are looking at in our research is that we think tinnitus, or ringing in the ears, causes maybe more activity than we should have. So we're going to look at alpha specifically,
Okay.
which is just a certain frequency of activity, versus theta activity. And
Okay.
this helps us track, after music listening, what are people's kind of resting brainwaves looking like.
And is this accurate resting, or would mine be different if I wasn't on air? Do you feel like am
you're
I
not resting.
amped up?
You are not resting at
Okay.
all. You're very active and engaged,
Okay.
which I appreciate. Thank you.
Okay, so you would initially play something and then you would see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me tighten that
Are you
a
gonna
little
play
bit.
it?
So if I play music, we'll see everything kind of change for you.
And then once you play it, will you hold that up? So we
Yeah,
can see it
this
on the
is
screen?
the bel canto duo. So these are our music partners that we did the research with.
Okay.
So we'll start to see kind of regular patterns coming in where your brain is syncing up a little bit to that beat.
Is there a close-up that we can see of the? If you hold it just like that,
Yeah.
that camera can get it. Okay. I'm trying. I don't want to look because I
Just
don't want to mess
relax
up my
your
waves.
face.
Okay.
Don't
Relax my face.
But what you'll notice about this music versus what we heard before, this is really calm. There's a really steady beat. So your brain activity is more inclined to relax and kind of settle in with what's happening here. So you've got a cello and a French horn,
Okay.
both kind of low, steady, rhythmic sounds.
I do
So
like
that's
it.
what we're looking at, and we think that this could be more therapeutic than just a tinnitus patient playing some kind of noise, which is standard of care right now. People often go and listen to.
To just drown out the sound.
Yeah, they'll listen to white noise, which I always
Yes.
tell patients not to do because
Oh, interesting. Why?
well, it doesn't have any characteristics that our brain is set up to process. White noise is just all sound at once, and our brain really likes harmony, rhythm. It likes to expect tempo, and it's pitch match, so it knows that there should be different pitches to sound. So
have
I think
some-
this is the future of our tinnitus treatment.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That would be
thank you
such
for being a
relief.
willing
Of course.
volunteer.
Anytime I can have a gadget hooked up and try something. We have video of you putting the full cap on another participant. So that is the one, obviously more involved. I'm glad you didn't bring that one for me.
Yeah, that one takes a lot more setup. This is a full research cap. So with this one, we can actually tell which regions of the brain are active with all those channels. So we can get a lot more specific processing on what your brain is up to when you're doing different tasks or different music listening.
So what can an EEG diagnose?
In general, it doesn't diagnose anything specific for us, but it helps us learn how relaxed someone is, how much brain power they're using to do a task. And I do a lot of research with concussion, and often we see that maybe a person can functionally complete the same task I ask a person without concussion to do, but they're taking a lot more brain energy to do it. And that's why they get so fatigued or they have a headache. Even though they're living a functional life, we can see those little differences in how their brain is getting there.
That makes sense because if you've ever tried, Spanish is not my first language, but when I speak Spanish to my husband's family, sometimes I get a headache because I'm thinking extra hard, making sure I conjugate the sentences correctly and I'm saying the right thing. Would that be kind of similar to?
Absolutely. We would be able to see your brain on overdrive there, trying to keep up.
Making sure, it's hard to keep up with them. The connection between music and the mind is so real and it's so powerful. On a previous episode, we introduced you to 2 cancer patients who are using their music to inspire and uplift others going through the same treatments. A quiet room filled with IV drips and needles. Patients under blankets undergoing various infusions at the University of Kansas Cancer Center in Lee's Summit.
We'll need this. That ought to do it.
But what's this? Instruments, microphones,
That feels about right.
amps,
There it goes.
music. This is not your typical audience and certainly not your typical venue.
1, 2, 3, 4.
But it's a location musicians Kevin Nybert and Charles Gregg know all too well.
In 2019, I lost a kidney, and after that, it went to my bladder, and I even went to stage 4.
I've been a patient here of Dr. Chuda's since late 2018, and I've been coming here every month since then, so I've been doing treatments all that time.
Kevin and Charles are not only cancer patients here, they're also lifelong friends.
I've known him since he was like 11.
Childhood friends who also performed and played music together for more than 45 years.
I was just a little kid. The guitar was bigger than I when we first started.
I've got memories by the dozen.
And over the decades, they've played for some incredible crowds and opened for some big names.
Garth Brooks, Earl Thomas Conley, the Judds. I did all the big opening acts when they come through Kansas City.
But for years, their playing was on hiatus as each friend faced their own cancer battle.
Chuck and Kevin are both our patients, so we see them often.
And this is where nurse practitioner Allie Burtkin steps onto stage, so to speak. She says she became concerned when she noticed a change in Kevin's once bubbly personality. He began to seem depressed and withdrawn. So Allie had an idea.
I encouraged him or asked him if he would want to play in the infusion room, and he lit up just even thinking about that, and I could instantly see like the normal Kevin again and that personality back in him.
Then she went to her other patient, Kevin's old friend Charles, to see if he was game. It was an instant yes.
What I might be on.
You know, when you're really ill, you can dwell pretty easy. You can get off on the wrong track, but music gives you a serenity that's like no other, and it comes from the heart.
Then shake the sand in my shoes.
Allie says as music filled the clinic, patients and staff stopped to listen.
Just a fool's holiday.
You could feel the joy, not just in Kevin and Charles, but in everyone, spreading across the room like a wave.
I think music is incredible. I think that everyone can relate to at least some type of music, and live music makes it even better and brings out some happiness, I think.
That was fun. It's kind of boost the morale, and just love to hear music.
It wasn't just a one-off. Now Kevin and Charles perform for fellow infusion patients here on a regular basis.
The heart can reflect memories.
I think if I didn't have the music in my life, I just wouldn't be near who I am and where I'm at. It's kind of what's kept me going through.
Is it simply music?
I'm painting it too.
These musicians will tell you it's also their medicine.
Thank you. That's one of our originals.
What a gift. All those smiles. What a joy to see them bring music to patients and happiness from the patients who knew the experience and know it firsthand of being a patient. Dr. Lepping, we know the connection between the body and the brain. When it comes to healing, doctors will always say we'll have surgeons on who say the person with the most family and mental support does better in their recovery. When it comes to healing, in addition to joy, how could music help cancer patients in that video?
So the patients talked a lot about connection with others.
Yeah.
And music has a connection not just in that space, but connection to their past, their selves outside, their healthy selves outside of the clinic. That hope that can bring really, I think, helps people think about what it's like to not be a patient and to be a whole person.
You talked about studying live music versus listening on the radio. What's happening differently, do you think, then, in the mind that's made it so much more powerful neurologically?
Well, I think there are a couple of things that come to mind. One is that when you're listening to a recording of music, it's a one-sided conversation.
Experience.
So it's a one-sided experience.
Right.
And when you are listening to a live performer, the performer is engaged in that in as much as you are as the listener. And as a musician myself, when you perform music live, it's never the same twice. The audience changes the experience.
What do you play? What do you perform? Do you sing
I play piano and flute, and then I play with a lot of different other instruments is my hobby, but those are my primary.
So when you heard that musician say he didn't know who he'd be without music?
It's true. I started playing piano when I was 5 years old. I don't know how to live in the world without music.
And we never have to, right?
Thankfully.
Boy, musicians are fascinating. Sometimes, Dr. Mann, when I listen to Dave Matthews is always tricky. There's something about some people don't like it. I love Dave Matthews, but it always makes me cry if I'm feeling fragile. What is it about music that can sometimes make me feel worse?
I think your example might be memory related or, back to an era of your life when you first heard that song. So I think music can be very tied to our experiences. But there are also different notes that are, in a certain pitch or sharp or flat that can evoke a different kind of feeling, even if you've never heard the song.
That's what's fascinating. We will be going through songs for the background of a story, and some of them it's, oh no, that's too sad, that's just piercing.
Yeah.
So what is it triggering in our minds?
I think it's just certain notes kind of put our brain at unrest, and that's what we're trying to do, the opposite, especially with people who have ringing in their ears. We're trying to use calm, rhythmic, expected patterns so that their brain can kind of settle in and know that this is a safe song and nothing unexpected is going to happen.
Neutral?
Yeah,
kind of
very neutral
music. Mm-hmm. We already have some great questions and comments coming in. We love reading your comments and your questions out loud during the program. So if you have something to ask us or you'd like us to read aloud on the program, you can connect with us right now in real time on YouTube or Facebook. The links are right there on your screen. Dr. Lepping, I want to ask you about neuroarts. How are neuroarts different from music therapy?
That's a really good question, one I get asked a lot. Music therapy is a certification program. So this is very similar if you understand the difference between a physical therapist and going to the gym or going for a walk. So when you listen to your favorite songs on the radio, that's more like going for a walk. You might feel better, but sometimes you need that therapist to assist you with a specific problem that you might be having.
So would the neuroarts be like what, going to the gym?
So the neuro arts would be more like going to the gym. So
Okay.
I'm not a music therapist. I am a researcher trying to understand the mechanisms that music and art can have on health and well-being. And so I don't work one-on-one with clients or patients like a music therapist would.
Right. As you're saying this, I'm thinking of all the parents out there who sometimes they find that the music and art classes get cut or they're not considered mandatory in school, which is such a shame based on what we're now learning and what's being studied about how that can be so helpful. Are there certain instruments, Dr. Mann, or rhythms that stimulate more for cognitive function?
That's another good question. I think it depends on the outcome that you want. So if we want your brain to be relaxed because you have ringing in your ears, then we want something slow and steady with expected regular beats. If you're getting up in the morning and you have a lot of anxiety about going to class, having something with a lot of unexpected changes and loud volume may actually kind of make you feel worse versus something that's more slow and rhythmic might help calm you down.
Like you wouldn't want to listen to a jazz riff.
Right
that would
before
be
a big
stressful
presentation
before
or a test.
that might
Probably
do it.
not. Nothing against jazz, but no.
Sure.
Not expected or rhythmic.
Dr. Lepping, how do you measure the impact then on brain health? What are you measuring?
So it goes to what Dr. Mann just said, that it depends on the outcome. And so if we're trying to understand how music might have an impact on a particular symptom or condition or anxiety, for example, we start with understanding what, how that presents in the brain and in the body, and then we take the other approach of understanding the different elements of music. Is it rhythm? Is it harmony? Is it pitch? Is it instrumentation? Is it lyrics? Or something else that might be impacting that? And so our measurement then comes down to the tools that we use frequently are EEG, like we've done today. Also functional MRI we'll use.
And what does a functional MRI look like?
A functional MRI, a person will go into an MRI machine, which is a big tube, and we take pictures while they're resting, so while they're not doing anything, but just listening to the scanner make a lot of noise, or while they're doing some sort of a cognitive task. So we can play music or other stimuli while they're in the scanner and see what parts of their brain are active compared to a different condition. So we're taking, essentially looking how the brain is changing over time. Either is it connected to different parts of itself, or is it active with a task?
Where are you in your study right now?
Right now we just collected some pilot data. So the Bel Canto Duo, which is a group that we work with out of Omaha, who are kind of experts in how do we use rhythm to promote healing, to promote stress reduction. We just had them on campus and we recorded EEGs like I just showed you while people sat and listened in an audience. And we had some folks with tinnitus in there. So we're really interested in how their brain reacts to live music, because a lot of people who have ringing feel like going to something that's musical might actually make the tinnitus worse. So we're interested in what type of sound causes the outcome that we're looking for versus kind of accelerating things for the person.
Was the study mainly based then on focusing on tinnitus, or are there other things that could be rehabilitated that you're studying?
This particular study was focused on tinnitus, but we're really interested in music as an application across health conditions, because we're not really ever addressing the underlying stress or maybe the sleep deprivation and the anxiety that comes with having a health condition in general. So I think the future's wide open. Even if people don't feel connected to music or feel like they have, a whole love affair with it, we can use rhythm, we can use certain calming types of sounds to help them relax, to help them sleep. And I think that's a big misconception. Patients used to ask me, I don't really get into music, what would I do with it? And I'm happy to show them that it doesn't have to be something that you're into. You don't even have to be awake. We can still get some therapeutic effect. Yeah, absolutely. Your eyes close and your ears don't. It's one of my favorite quotes. So your brain's always ready to listen.
And before we get to community questions, Dr. Lepping, did you always know you wanted to study this? What came first? Your love for music started when you were 5. At what point did you, so that started first. At what point did you decide you wanted to study these things as a career?
It was when I was an undergraduate. I was a double performance major in piano and flute.
Wow, where did you go to college?
Wichita State University.
Okay.
And so in my 3rd year, I took my required general education psychology class that I had to take, and that was when I knew. I was very excited about psychology and how this would, why people were having these experiences like I was. Yeah. And I switched my major. So I have a 3-year minor in music.
Oh, and those are hard. Trying to double major or double minor in music was so hard.
Yes.
In addition to the medical world. That's a lot. That's what I'm saying. This is a lot. Let's get to some of the comments and questions from our viewers. Gene Reardon says, he wants me to share a quote. Kurt Vonnegut said, "The only proof I need for the existence of God is music." Oh, that's neat. How does that make you feel as a musician?
That's beautiful. I love Kurt Vonnegut. That's a great quote.
Had you ever heard that one?
I haven't heard that one.
Thank you, Jean. Jeremy wants to know, do different music styles or beats per minute affect the brain in different ways? I think you did answer that, but expand on that.
Yeah, I think absolutely. And it can be, depending on the outcome, maybe you're looking for something familiar to put you back in, your past when you were having a really great period in your life, and you want nostalgic music. It doesn't matter what the beat or tempo is. But if you're trying to use music to help you focus or study, using things that are slow and very rhythmic with a nice steady tempo might help your brain get kind of in concentration mode and feel relaxed and ready to work.
Marie has a question. She wants to know if the portable gadget you brought could ever one day be prescribed as a piece of home therapy equipment.
Absolutely. These devices are already available commercially to help people learn how to meditate. And I think for audiology patients in particular, when they have ringing in the ears or sound intolerance, just telling them to go home and relax works 0% of the time. So if I can show them and train them how to relax by giving them real-time feedback, they know what they have to do to get their brain in that state, then that's a skill that they can take, long after we're done with the headband. And when they get agitated or feel stress coming up that makes their symptoms worse, they can put their body back in that relaxed state. So that's the goal, and absolutely it would be a take-home device.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How much would it be to buy this
now? Loaded question, because to get one, the way that we use it and get all of the data from it is very different than just having one commercially. But they're around $400
for commercial use.
If somebody wants the app and just wants to learn how to do guided meditation, or just learn to relax while they listen to music, they can absolutely find these online.
But for medical purposes, for you, it would be far more.
Yeah,
the research.
It would be different to be prescribing this.
Dr. Lepping, when it comes to prescribing things, I have a question for you, because my dad, who recently passed of Alzheimer's, when he was sick, when he was in the first few years of it, the doctors said that my mom and I should take him to concerts and should maybe even get him an instrument. And my mom bought my dad a ukulele.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so that's my dad trying to play the ukulele, which was hilarious.
I love it.
What is it about, one, playing an instrument, and two, going to live symphony concerts and concerts that doctors thought would help my dad with his Alzheimer's symptoms?
The link between Alzheimer's and music is really, really powerful, especially in sparking memories. And so we've had the experience in one of our research studies observing at elder care communities, people doing, bringing in a guitar and doing a sing-along with the residents.
Yeah.
And people who won't speak to you for weeks will come and sing along to these songs, all the words, multiple verses. And they're smiling and making eye contact with one another. It's really, really striking. And I think it comes back to what I was talking about at the beginning, that music is activating all these different parts of your brain. So it's not just one area that might be affected, but it's able to have those redundant cues. So information from this part and this part and this part come together to help you link up those memories.
That's just wild, and that would happen with my dad. Bruce Springsteen, he loves Bruce Springsteen and ELO. When those two, any songs from either of those would come on, he absolutely perked up and knew. He recognized that. We have another question from Kim Bosley Moore. She's one of our regulars. We love Kim. She writes, I met Kevin there while doing my treatments. His daughter is my dentist. Aww. So she's talking about the video we just saw. We have another video that we want to play because I think Dr. Lepping wanted to talk a little bit more about this.
So,
and Alex, is this the video? Okay. Yep.
When we had Enrique come to the lab, he played music from Making Movies, his own band that our audience members may not have been familiar with, and then he played a tune that they've been playing for a while called Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
Right, Tears for Fears.
Tears for Fears,
yes,
exactly. Yes. And so when you're listening to music that you've never heard before, it's activating your brain differently than music that you know really well. And so that's one of the things that we were looking at here.
Oh, man. And you feel that when you're with your friends and you hear a song, or when you're out to a concert.
I know that.
It's that that communal feeling. This is a fascinating topic and a really interesting study. I can't wait to hear what comes next, Dr. Mann and Dr. Lepping. As we get to our today's takeaways, Dr. Mann, what's next with your research and what do you want to see happen?
I think what's next for us is trying to get more funding and more public awareness that music can add to clinical therapies, that it can absolutely help promote wellness and stress reduction and human connection. That's just going to help advance anything we're doing medically in the clinic. So I think that's just an exciting time for us.
It is. Dr. Lepping, what do you want our viewers to know?
That you don't need a physician to tell you that you can go and listen to music. If you're feeling good with it, you should do it. But what we're trying to do with our research is to understand how it can be used in that therapeutic context and get to music on prescription.
That would be amazing. Real quick, how would it look to have music prescribed? What would that look like?
Just with a medication, you have to understand what the mechanism is. Right, you wouldn't give everybody a white pill and think that it would be the same for every treatment. You're giving someone a medication for a particular symptom. And so we have to understand what the symptom is and what the music is doing to be able to have that mechanism of action work.
Wouldn't that be wild if one day a doctor could prescribe and your insurance would cover a visit to the symphony? That would be really interesting. Thank you both so much for joining me, Dr. Mann, Dr. Lepping. Really appreciate you both being here. And thank you to our viewers for joining the conversation. We'll see you right back here tomorrow morning for Open Mics with Dr. Stites. And we leave you today with another way that music can heal. Enjoy these UMKC students performing their monthly Healing and Harmony series here at the Health System.